We are back. We're here for One Piece 1114. Shout out to Vasil Vlad Ivanovici for coming aboard.
Together we're stronger.
That's our guy.
Together we're stronger.
Wow. All right. So we might be getting into some nitty-gritty today. Things might get spicy. I'm fully expecting things to get spicy. So it's about to get spicy. Let's get into this. Let's get these likes up, guys. Happy Mother's Day to any mothers in the chats or the mothers of everybody that's in the chat. Okay. Pulling up the chapter here. All right. The Wings of Icarus. Interesting. Very interesting. So let me see here. We got Kinemon's, I guess, giving Yamato like a scavenger hunt, maybe? Oh, okay. Yamato's got to go take Yasue's sword to a shrine in Hakamai. All right, yeah, it's a scavenger hunt, guys. This is it's going to be 10 to 20 chapters before this particular cover story gets interesting. All right. Anyway, Navy HQ, New World. We're back at McDonald's, guys. All right. People are screaming about the world sinking under the sea. You know, that's where we left off last week. Hina is there. Okay. We've got Hina and some other no-names. Guy on the far right, I'm pretty sure he was at the he was in chapter 957. He looks familiar. Like Oda's used this guy to speak before. We got on the far left, we got the, what's that guy's name? I used to be the biggest Simpsons fan in the world, and I can't remember, but he looks like the fisherman from The Simpsons, right underneath. What are you talking about? Akainu, looking east. This man's been doing about as much as Dragon's been doing the entire post-time skip. Mocktown. Oh, are we going to see Cricket? Who's laughing? Who's laughing in Mocktown? Oh, just some randos. All right. And, my bad. We're on page 3 now. Interesting that the snail has Doflamingo's symbol on it. So are these the next generation of Bellamy's here? Hey, Paulie! Shout out to Paulie. Okay. And Lulu. All right, we got big boy Dofi here. Shout out to the plug. So this is the only thing I've been spoiled on for the chapter because Jay's thumbnail had Doflamingo on it, so I knew Doflamingo would be in the chapter, but let's see, what is he saying? That's rich. What if seawater floods down into Impel Down? Isn't it your job to ensure the safety of the prisoners under your care, Magellan? Conrad said, wait, someone stole Sarkis's pants? Hold on, let's see this. That guy does look like he's wearing Sarkis's pants. They might just shop at the same place, though. They're all very Bellamy and Sarkis coded. Next page. Ooh, Magellan. Okay, we getting a little more. I totally thought that was gonna be it, and then that was all the Doflamingo we were getting. But Oda was like, nah, hold on, I'll give you a little more Dofi. I'll give you a little more. Dofi's one of my top. Magellan is one of my top 5 villains in the series. Like, I really like Magellan a lot. We were talking a lot about Impel Down these past 2 weeks, so. That 1 meter rise the other day had the prison panicking. How many meters does it take to sink the whole world? Most cities in the world will be wiped out with an extra 5 meters of water. What do you think? Should we all move to much higher ground? He wants to get much higher. Okay. That's Oda using Doflamingo to basically say that the Celestial Dragons and everybody at Marie Joie have been planning for this. And big shout out to Giltai Zoro, who said Happy Mother's Day, Chrissy Swan. Yes, big Happy Mother's Day to Chrissy. We celebrated yesterday because we knew we'd be streaming today, but we're also celebrating today and after the stream, so. W's for Ty, W's for Chrissy.
Chrissy, wake up now, Chrissy!
Thanks, Ty. Appreciate you, man. So now we're at Ryugu Kingdom. Shirahoshi's talking to Neptune. I mean, they have the Noah, and they have known that it's going to serve a purpose, but for whatever reason, Neptune doesn't believe that it's going to happen. Ty, I'm on the page with Magellan and Neptune. Okay. Okay. Then we're going back to Egghead. What is he talking about? This is coming from the world's greatest scientist. We can wreak havoc on the world even with a lie. He can. Alright, so then we've got the Vice Admiral that I was calling Frake. I can't remember his real name. But I can remember his fake name. Alright, moving over to the next page. We've got the Gorosei in a panic. They're using their telepathy to double down on destroying the snail. They're just going to destroy everything at this point, it seems. Okay. York's running around with a gigantic bazooka. This looks like Alabasta at the bottom. Could it be? Assuming that the sensors I built are functioning correctly, in the days after I record this message, there should be a most remarkable earthquake that strikes the entire planet. Okay. Is that the earthquake that we already had? That we saw in like 1089 after the events of Lelucia? Or is he talking about an earthquake that has yet to happen? Okay. Moving on to the next page. Ooh, Smoothie and Montdor. Shout out to Montdor, my favorite Charlotte. And Smoothie is basically answering what I was already talking about. Is he talking about the earthquake from today? Vegapunk's already dead, supposedly. As a result of that, the sea should rise about 1 meter around the world, rendering some islands uninhabitable. Is that a prophecy? Beaches around the world will be lost for good. Ooh, Tangent. All right, Long Ring Longland. We talked about Long Ring Longland and how they already have been, dealing with this issue. And he's back on his stilts because it looks like, Long Ring Longland was already dealing with tide issues. So a lot of Long Ring has to be underwater right now. If I am wrong in this prediction, feel free to disregard the rest of this message. Is that Pinkbeard in the back behind Kuzan? Wow, that's freaky, man. He totally nailed it. If this has happened, however, you should heed my words very carefully. This particular earthquake is not exactly what I would call a natural phenomenon. All right. Let's get into the Mother Flame, Uranus, all this stuff. Vegapunk, don't you dare say another word. Oh, shout out to Lilith. Just standing very coolly shooting her bubble gun. Chopper is shooketh. Usopp's upside down. Oda had too much fun drawing Nami. Brooke is holding it down. And Robin is still doing nothing. In my own way, I only ever hoped for peace. Oh, Robin did something. Okay. Spider net. How much more can Chopper take? I can't tell what's happening in this last panel. Is he just charging? Next page. Is that right? But this was the root of my first sin. What about the power plant, Mars? Not yet. That chamber must not be harmed above all else. I will go. I dreamt of a source of endless eternal energy, and in my desire to push the world forward into the future, Mother Flame, I flew too close to the sun. Now we're talking about the chapter title, The Wings of Icarus. Interesting that it's just one singular flame in there, housed by this entire thing. But look at what's on it. A and Mu. Mu could refer to emu. The A. The A will probably be whoever we learn about in the Void Century flashback that Emu had to like dethrone or fight against or something. Someone that they were close with but betrayed. Because that's still my headcanon. S108. I feel like everything in this panel is like important here. Wait a second. So, all right, so Saturn left those guys and managed to like instantly find the Mother Flame. Now he's in his human form and he's trying to destroy. I thought they were trying to protect the Mother Flame. Hold on. Because I mean, am I seeing this right? It looks like he's like damaging the controls. But that could depressurize the Mother Flame and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Interesting that this flame is being held in water, it would seem, because you've got the glub blub. So whatever this fire is, it is able to survive in water. I feel like this is going to have something to do with devil fruits and... I mean, like, my mind is just racing to, like, the soul in devil fruits, the power inside of devil fruits. Like, this has to be the source of power for whatever they were up against, distilled, or the soul of Nika or something. Anyway, that was page 9, the double page spread there. And let's go to the next page. We're zooming in on the Mother Flame here. Allow me to explain. All right, now we're seeing the ancient robot moving. Just what it is. Dory, Brogy, and Luffy are still running away from Workury, from Topman. Just what is that is happening to our world. Hurry before you get roasted alive. Okay, we got an emu appearance on the next page. From about 900 years ago to 800 years ago, the period of a century, there is a span of history that is completely and entirely blank. Alright, so the Celestial Dragons are getting upset. Ooh, now this is interesting. Charlos' sister does not know about the Void Century at all. Alright. make him stop talking. We call this the Void Century because all records from this time were eliminated. The only means to know this lost piece of history is to find a message from the past in the form of poneglyphs scattered across the world and decipher its contents. But some of these other celestial dragons seem like they might know, so I'm kind of confused. And then we've got our first actual image of Saul in the present. He looks fine. I thought he'd be all scarred and everything, but looks like he healed well enough. But then again, you know, we've already kind of gotten enough proof in the story that he's not the burn scar man marked by flames, even though it would make sense, fit the story, but it's nice to see Saul. Gotta love it. Next page. Shout out to Yumio, who said, that's the godhead of science, needing to use a stick to turn off the machine. Science. Taking it back to the, you know, the first inventions there. Oh, wow. Boodle. Now, this is crazy. Like, a character I didn't expect to see. This is fun. I don't know who this girl is. Maybe his, like, granddaughter or something. I love how the snail has Shushu's face on it. There's a statue of Shushu. We even see Shushu. Well, long ago, there were 20 kings who got together and they created the world. Doesn't that man know that? What do you think, Shushu? What man is he talking about here? Is he just talking about Vegapunk, or is he trying to imply something else? Boodle, what do you know? Huh? Okay, shout out to Marguerite. We got a little bit of Amazon Lily in here. However, the world government has made it a crime of the highest order to decipher the message of the poneglyphs, and despite being a member of the government myself, I broke this law. That was my second sin. All right, Vegapunk, we're starting to tread into territory that I would prefer Robin should be talking about. Through the sheer tenacity of a group of excellent archaeologists, I inherited some texts and a number of poneglyphs, which I have deciphered, and continued studying to the best of my ability. I regret none of this. Okay, we see Robin taking in this information. Nami is looking at Robin, you know, in the same way that I am, like, this information should be coming from her, not him. Next page. History, you see, tells a story. Wait, something moved. What moved? Clouds extending? Okay, we got some Deus Ex Machina allowing the ship to get out of here. So when Edison said he would make sure we touched down on water, did he mean... Good point, if the clouds stretch further out, we can reach the sea. Now get off this island, Straw Hats, and don't let the world government lay a finger on you. Alright. Shout out to Edison. Next page. It's just a double page spread. Alright. In other words, what I know is an incomplete story of that 100-year void. It would be dishonest to fill the blanks with my own speculation, so I will leave you only with the verified truth. Hey, Straw, don't push your luck. The main character of this story was born into a kingdom with an impossibly advanced civilization 900 years ago. Oh, okay. Like the sun god Nika spoken of in Elbaf legend, he fought with a body that stretched and contracted. His name was Joy Boy. He was the very first man on this sea to be called a pirate. I think we're gonna go right into the Void Century flashback here. Like, just narratively, like the way this is being set up, it seems like we're just going to transition, and like 11:15 is going to be literally seeing Joy Boy. Which, if that's the case, math piece. Because if we go to Elbaf in a flashback of some sort, on the 1000 chapter anniversary of seeing Elbaf, this is... I don't know, guys. I think Oda wants to end this story soon. The main character of this story was born into a kingdom with an impossibly advanced civilization 900 years ago. Like the sun god Nika spoken of in Elbaf legend, he fought with a body that stretched and contracted. His name was Joy Boy. So, now that I've reread that and thought about it, Nika existed probably centuries before the Void Century. Devil fruits were created and all that kind of stuff. And Joy Boy either inherited the powers or ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. So either way, Nika had Luffy's powers, Joy Boy had Luffy's powers. These things are confirmed now. And we're getting solid confirmation, which was kind of obvious, but it still wasn't explicitly stated, that Nika was one being and Joy Boy was another. Joy Boy is from the Advanced Kingdom, from the Ancient Kingdom. ZMP323 said, Emu face reveal is definitely coming by the end of the arc. My first chapter reading weekly was the Lelucia chapter, 1060. Been a peak experience. I think the Emu face reveal will come... I mean, with the way that this is being set up, it almost feels like it would happen in a flashback now. And then we would come back into the present and see it. So, Luffy is Shin said Trinity, but yeah, I mean, like, this is the third time's the charm sort of thing. There was Nika, then Joy Boy, and now Luffy. Alejandro Salas supered and said, some celestial dragons did nothing wrong. 100 out of 10 chapter because we got to see the goat Shushu in 2024. In Japan, and is pronounced to. That's right. Atamu. But could that also be Adam?
Savage.
Adam and Eve. You know, it would actually be pretty great if Oda was doing the Adam and Eve thing, but he actually did spell it ATOM. Because it's like an advanced society, right? So it's like the Adam in Adam and Eve is actually atomic, like atom, because he's from the ancient kingdom and he's scientifically advanced. I could see Oda doing that name play, and that'd be pretty funny.
Savage.
BK said, what if the atom tree is the atom tree? I mean, that's where I was going to go next, because that's... Yeah. I mean, that's headcanon right now. Shout out to Ace2532 with the big 50. Appreciate you, man.
It's about to get spicy.
Nobody's in the chat for Ace. Said, I'm pretty much convinced that the crew is going to split up heading to Elbaf. Zoro's group will flee on the Sunny as soon as him and Jinbei meet up with Nami and the others. Luffy's group will leave with the Giants. I've wanted a split-up situation for a while now. And honestly, I would prefer if it was like the entire crew leaves and then Luffy only goes with the Giants. And I really want the crew to be separated from Luffy. I don't want two separate teams. I want, well, two separate teams, but just Luffy is his own team with the Giants, and then the rest of the crew is off on their own, and they have to figure out what to do without Luffy.
You loyal.
Vasile Superman said, Chapter 472 cover story features the Mother Flame. Is that the Anel cover story? 472? That feels right. 472 Thriller Bark, yeah. Yep.
Savage.
Anel looking at the hieroglyphs on the moon. See here. Back to the Mother Flame page. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great catch. The thing up top. Now, if you look at this image, now this is Anel looking at the hieroglyphs. And what you have here is a bunch of winged individuals with, you know, tribal masks and all this stuff, kind of reminiscent of the Shandians. And they are walking over with, like, balloons that look like the sun or something, and everybody's crying. So they're all, like, kind of slaves to this sort of machine, and it's just like, they don't want to do this. The other guys with the spikes don't want to do this. You know, the little guys... It's like they're offering up pieces of probably the Mother Flame to, you know, it's... Yeah. This has always been one of the most important pieces of lore in One Piece that, you know, we haven't been able to fully decipher yet. Will of Davy, appreciate the 10, said, I mentioned the Adam thing. Imagine if it's Adam on the bomb when Vegapunk is confessing his first and second sin. And Vegapunk's head is an apple.
You loyal.
Which is all around peak fiction once again. Yeah, and but the other thing too is like, yeah, he's got the apple on his head, which, you know, is connected to Einstein, but is also connected to the creation story. But it's also connected to Oppenheimer and the atomic bomb, because even though Einstein was not a part of the Manhattan Project, he still knew Oppenheimer. still had conversations with Oppenheimer. His theories still showed that what Oppenheimer wanted to do was plausible. And then one of Einstein's quotes is, something to the effect of, I know not what battles World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones, something like that. And then, we have, I definitely butchered that, but I mean, like, the sentiment is there. And what do we have? We have Old Man Saturn going up against the Mother Flame with a stick. So I don't, maybe that's a stretch, but it could also be in reference to that particular quote there as well. Ace2532, member for 21 months, said, I also believe Lilith and Atlas will be the only surviving satellites. Edison will hopefully take out York before he dies. Hey, look, if Edison can take out York, I'm all about it. I'm not a fan of York. I like Edison, and I like Lilith. And of course, Shaka, that was the GOAT. But I don't know. I don't know if Atlas makes it. We'll see. We'll see. But that just could be, my own, my own little thing there.
You loyal.
Jen said Oda watched Dune last month. This month he watched Oppenheimer. Yeah, I mean, this is, everything has been about, from the start, all of it has been about the atomic bomb and everything. Like, it's hard to find Japanese media that does not call back to one of the, like, most violent acts, and like that thing shaped an entire era. It shaped that country. Like, that is not, it is ingrained in their culture. They cannot walk away from what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So even if they wanted to, they can't. Like, it is just so ingrained in just Japanese culture and everything that they make. So for this story also to not come to a seminal moment where what Oda is building is also trying to speak on the horrors of World War II, it's not going to happen. That this is what we're getting. But it's just the way that he's going about it here. Atomu. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I love this. Shout out to Prophet. Appreciate the 5. Said, Joy Boy is from Shandora, the Golden City, which was destroyed 800 years ago and spread the poneglyphs. Jaya is the original pirate island where everything started. Yes. Jaya
Savage
is important to all of this. Absolutely. And is a big part of the next video that I'm going to be putting out during the break, which is pretty much edited already. Cole Scott supered and said, I'm thinking the comparisons of the Mother Flame to nuclear energy is becoming more and more clear. Yeah, that is absolutely the point here. Prophet said, how's my day going? Hey, we're reading some Peak. We're enjoying this. I'm glad to be here with you guys. Duran Rostuvia, member for 10 months, said, Mother Flame, sun, electricity, the moon. Maybe. I mean, Anel's there, right? Volkazard said, and the devil fruits are the atom tree's apples. You know, it's all coming together. Yeah. People are also speculating A and Mu is referring to the two lost kingdoms, Atlantis and Mu, said Brandon King. I mean, Atlantis is interesting. Mu being the name of a kingdom, I don't know. I think that I'd be disappointed about that. I like that. I like that it just refers to Emu. Let's see. Will of Dreams said chapter 555, Mother Flame in a bubble next to Haradas. Let's see. 555. Oh, interesting. But you see, this also goes back to 472, right? Because what are the people with wings carrying over to the small guys? Bubbles, which is what I was just talking about. So, and I just said, like, they were probably bringing the Mother Flame, you know, to them. And sure enough, here's a bubble with a flame inside of it. So Nami has literally seen this. That's a great call. Love that. Has everybody seen that? Chapter 555? Mother Flame in a bubble. Shout out to Barry Motivated. Remember, for 36 months, we hit it, guys. 3 years. She said, shout out to my boy Edison. Yeah, he's doing it. He's saving everybody. Potentially sacrificing himself for it. Shin said, Randy, come on, we got a Magellan and York chapter. Yeah. We got the two big poopers. Growth Stonks. Appreciate the 10 said Vegapunk's phrase quasar is a reference to a super black hole that is the brightest thing in the universe. It's possible that the celestial dragons aren't stars, but black holes. The quasar thing definitely has to come through somewhere. And I think we'll get into more of all of that once we actually really get into the moon and what the moon's role is in all of this. Nigel said, is Shaka really dead? I mean, we've talked about his brain actually like it not being here in the mask, but like maybe in his chest or in his stomach or something, like Krang. So that's still a possibility. Barry said, the Mother Flame gives me Prometheus vibes. Yep, there you go. Mankind given an incredible source of power, but how it is used depends on who is using it. Good points indeed. Leonardo Martin said S-108, Seraphim 108, the Lunarian Flames. It's interesting. I could see the
Savage.
Lunarians being like the chosen people because they just like have the mother flame. When S Shark was made, wasn't that S104 or something? Is that right? Am I remembering correctly? Or was it 004? Gonna have to go back to that. That was chapter, what was that, 1063 or something? No, 1063 was Law and Blackbeard. Don't Hurt My Daddy. It's 1065. Yeah, it's just S04. Or, no, oh yeah, yep, yeah. So I don't think that actually has anything to do with the Seraphims, Leonardo. That's probably a whole different system of classification. Conrad, member for 35 months, said, Oda, please, give me 3 years at Elbaf, please. Cole Scott, Superintendent, said, what's your view on Vegapunk's character, considering the things we've heard about him? I mean, Vegapunk's been great. I'm glad that we finally got him. I don't like the idea of him being the vehicle for all of this information when I think it really should be Robin. I think Robin is getting severely neutered, and if I could, Oda and I would have a conversation about this. You know, like, you're forgetting the character that you made to give us this information. But this is fun. The acceptable thing would be that we go into like a 20 chapter flashback after this chapter right now. We do the Joy Boy flashback now. We have the context for everything that happened as readers. And then we go to Elbaf. Yeah, it's Mother's Day, and we got the reveal of the Mother Flame on Mother's Day. Look at Oda. Math piecing again. Terrible TJ. Appreciate the super set. In my opinion, Quasar references Vegapunk being the brightest man alive. That's a good take. I like that a lot. I think it could just be as simple as that. Shout out to Big 00 Flevens with the 20. Appreciate you, man. Said, thoughts on if the Mother Flame is powered by belief in Nika? Going into the meltdown, if too many people are aware at once without proper containment, alternatively leading the government to not being able to use it if no one knows about Nika. Well, I mean, this is, you know, what I've been talking about is like the one thing that I want to come out of this message in the first place is for people to learn about Nika. So if they're learning about Nika, and if it is a belief system, as a lot of what this arc and the story, you know, at large is kind of telling us about all of this, then this could be the case, right? The Void history and the suppression of this fruit and Nika and being, you know, afraid of Nika in the first place is because they don't want people to believe in Nika. They don't want to know about it. You know, this goes back to a lot of, you know, just religions in the first place. Like, belief gives power. You know, it brings confidence. Like, someone can move through their life, and if they're not very spiritual or anything like that, someone who is spiritual could get added confidence from being told by a, you know, any sort of religious figure coming up to them and saying, God's got you, Buddha's got you, Allah's got you, whatever. And they'll go into that test, that job interview, that, whatever is, happening in their life, they're going to move differently. Because they're just going to be like, I got this. And that's how a lot of people move, that are spiritual. So it could be Oda kind of like trying to reference that, draw into that. When Bonnie was being checked by Saturn and being told you're wavering in your beliefs, so your power is failing, right? But once she hasn't had enough people in her life to tell her, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. So her belief as a young girl is just, it's into the stratosphere. She can become a giant, she can become Luffy, she can be whatever she wants to be. Luffy, the source of his power is imagination and belief. So if it goes into like this spirit bomb effect of everything, where everyone in the world is learning about this information, and you've got now Boodle and Polly and Shushu and Marguerite and all these other people throwing their hands into the air and saying, I believe in Nika, and Nika is Luffy, then all of this invisible energy goes into our boy, or it goes into the Mother Flame, and this is the kind of thing that the world government is trying to stop. The power of belief. By bringing fear into the equation and saying, no, these things don't exist. These things never existed. You only need to believe that, don't believe in a higher power. You need to believe in a lower power. You need to believe in a darker power, that only bad things are going to happen to you. But Oda's trying to spread a message of positivity. So it's, yes, believe in something. And Luffy is the type of person that says, like, I don't care if you believe in me. Which is the exact energy that people looking for something to believe in are going to be like, I don't care, I'm going to believe in you. Growth Stock supered and said, in Skypiea, Luffy and Nell and Nola the Snake are all seen eating apples. This could be a reference to Adam and Eve and the devil. Creationism is all throughout this story, and it's like it's only going to get more apparent. Like, there will be a figure in the Void Century and everything that will be like, we'll have some sort of a snake. We will have some sort of temptation thing. Someone is going to mess up, and they are going to mess it up for everybody, and they are going to be responsible for everything. And it's going to be like when Endgame came out, and there were all the memes about, like, everybody did their part except for Peter Quill. Like, we're going to have the Peter Quill of Endgame when we get into all of this at some point. And, that's going to be the person who, like, eats the apple, in quotations. So yeah. Antonio Yu said Happy Mother's Day to Emu. Yeah. Cole Scott said, was King tortured under his command? Under Vegapunk's command, going back to what you were talking about earlier. I mean, maybe. Look, at the end of the day, Vegapunk is not good. Vegapunk has never been a good guy. And I've always said this. Vegapunk is a neutral man. And I said this even before we met Vegapunk. I've been saying this for years. Like, when we meet Vegapunk, like, he's going to lean good, but he's going to be neutral. Because of everything that we already knew about him. Like, he was creating clones, creating seraphims, he was creating weapons for the world government. So it's like, But I always said it was probably to fund his own ventures. Like, it's a quid pro quo thing. Like, yeah, I know you're probably going to kill a bunch of people with these pacifistas that I'm giving you, but I'm also going to make this food machine that's going to feed a lot of people. So that's where that neutrality comes in. Like, at his core, he wants to be good, but he knows that he can't do what he wants to do without money. So it goes back to when he met Dragon. Well, not met, but when him and Dragon were at O'Hara, it's like, the offer still stands. You can, come and chat with me. And he was just like, man, you don't have enough money for me. Like, I can't do what I need to do with what you've got going on. So, go and get your money, and then maybe we can talk. Where the world government is like, here is an infinite purse. We're going to kill people with everything that you're making. But whatever you do on the side, like, we'll turn a blind eye to, as long as it's not reading poneglyphs. So, that's kind of the thing. So he's neutral. He's out here experimenting on King, experimenting on Kaido. These are, other people taking DNA from Hancock and other people, like creating clones without their knowledge or without their consent, right? Like, this is morally gray stuff. That kind of stuff kind of leans the other way. Like, not necessarily evil, but it's like, it's teetering. So it's sort of this, back and forth. Like, if you were playing an RPG video game, it's just like, like Vegapunk is getting like, he's moving into the good area, he's moving into the bad area. He's kind of, he's getting green icons, he's getting red icons, and it's all sort of balancing out, and then he's at 0. So he's a complex character, which is good. It's good for a story to have a complex character. Shout out to everybody in here. Let's get these likes up, guys. Come on, there's not enough likes. I want to see a like spike, because we've got more than double the amount of likes of people in here. Vasil Vladivanovici supered and said, the distance from the Earth to the Sun is 108 times greater than the distance from the Moon to Earth. Rouge's first bounty is 108 million. Okay. Vasil's cooking. See, that's the kind of stuff that I feel like, like that number, for as important as that image is supposed to be, like that number is not just thrown in there. So I actually think that that's probably it. The distance from the Earth to the Sun is 108 times greater than the distance from the Moon to Earth. I don't know how Rouge is going to play into all of this, but, we'll see. Emil said 108 is a symbolic number in Buddhism. Yeah, isn't it 108-pound phoenix? Yeah, 108-pound phoenix. Yeah, so it's definitely applying to that, going into that Buddhist thing, and Rouge is Buddhist coded for sure. So, it's the same thing. Like, he's mad monk. Like, so it's totally. We got to look into the, what that number represents at that point. So that's where Oda made the Mad Monk's bounty 108. Miles said 108 is big in all the Dharmic religions, yeah. Leonardo Martin said Aruja's birthday is January 8th, too. Yeah, Oda knows what he's doing. Nakama Camping said numerology, the number 108 can be interpreted as a combination of 1, unity and beginning, 0, emptiness and infinity, and 8, infinity and perfection. So the flame here represents the beginning, and it represents both emptiness, infinity, and perfection. That is why 108 is here at the Mother Flame. Because this is the most perfect and imperfect energy source that the world could ever see. Catching up on the chat here. Adamisk said, my time is coming. Yes, it most certainly is. Hmm. References the 108 earthly desires. Desires what make devil fruits. Anton said, Aruj said pre-time skip that Blackbeard is the key. Blackbeard has an association to the moon, Luffy to the sun. Could he have a role in Luffy versus Blackbeard? Well, I always liked the idea before Kuzan was, really in the picture or whatever, that Aruj could end up being one of Blackbeard's commanders. And I thought that would have been like a really fun way to kind of tie him in there so that Blackbeard ended up having convincing like a member of the worst generation to like join his team. That's always been it's always been something that's interesting to me, but I don't know if that's going to actually happen. The other thing is that everybody is wanting to know what Aruja's role in the story is. But I don't know if every single supernova needs to like be important. Like if we got to the end of the story and Aruj was never like a central focus in an arc or something, I don't know if I would be disappointed that we didn't get to see Aruj. It's like he's cool, Mad D Monk and all that. And Oda has kind of followed through and, made sure that every other supernova has like played a role in an arc. So it only makes sense that Aruj would too. And he's from Burka, which is where Enel was from. So I think that whatever you know, the big brain of it all really would be to have Oda connect a Nell and a Rouge. And that if we ever got some sort of like a Nell backstory, like a Rouge would be a part of it or something. Best cameo this chapter, Randy? Chin asked and said, "Shoo shoo?" Question mark. Paulie was the best cameo. That was the cameo that I was most excited about. Oh no, you know what? Magellan. This is tough because it's. I mean, my top three are Paulie, Magellan, and Montdor. Those are the characters that I was most excited about seeing in this particular chapter. Comic camping, spitting again. Astrology, there are 12 zodiac signs and 9 planets. And 12 times 9 is 108. I feel like we're all out here dissecting 616 in LA and Euphoria all over again. I love it. Meal said, "Happy Mother's Day to Crocodile." Stop, guys. Stop. It's not the case. Catch it up here. Emil said, "Poor Marguerite." Marguerite is definitely like my 4th favorite cameo in this. It was good to see Marguerite as well. Brandon said, "If Joy Boy is the first pirate, then what was the first pirate ship? My money is on the Ox Lloyd, whose bell Luffy rang, but I've also heard people say the Noah, the Flying Dutchman too." The Noah makes more sense. Let's see. Doing a reread on the chapter here. See other things here. I'm still really confused by Neptune's attitude towards this, because I feel like if there were certain characters in the story that would know about this stuff, like Neptune should have been the one to be like, yeah, this, like, he should have said something more ominous, like, it's happening. Like he knows a little bit about Joy Boy. He knows about Poseidon. Like, Neptune knows more than he's letting on, and Oda, like, that was always what I thought. And then Oda's like, nah, this man doesn't know anything. See, it's like I got to ignore everything else in the chapter and just focus on what Vegapunk is saying for a moment. I got to do the like, because Oda's doing all this stuff to distract us so that we're not getting, too close to everything. But it's like, this particular earthquake is not exactly what I would call a natural phenomenon. In my own way, I only ever hoped for peace, but that was the root of my first sin. I dreamt of a source of endless, eternal energy, and in my desire to push the world forward into the future, I flew too close to the sun. Allow me to explain just what it is that is happening to our world. From about 900 years ago to 800 years ago, a period of a century, there is a span of history that is completely and entirely blank. We call this the Void Century because all records from this time were eliminated. The only means to know this lost piece of history is to find a message from the past in the form of poneglyphs scattered across the world and decipher its contents. However, the world government has made it a crime of the highest order to decipher the message of the poneglyphs, and despite being a member of the government myself, I broke this law. That was my second sin. Through the sheer tenacity of a group of excellent archaeologists, I inherited some texts and a number of poneglyphs which I have deciphered, and continued studying to the best of my ability. I regret none of this. History, you see, tells a story. In other words, what I know is an incomplete story of that 100-year void. It would be dishonest to fill the blanks with my own speculation, so I will leave you only with the verified truth. The main character of this story was born into a kingdom with an impossibly advanced civilization 900 years ago. Like the sun god Nika spoken of in Elbaf legend, he fought with a body that stretched and contracted. His name was Joy Boy, and he was the very first man on the sea to be called a pirate. So that's the chapter, but only everything that Vegapunk says. Vegapunk's first sin was his desire to push the world forward into the future. So this is going back into his neutrality. Like, he only ever hoped for peace, but in order to achieve the things that he wanted to do and create the devices that he wanted to do, like changing the weather, feeding people, all this stuff, he needed the power of the Mother Flame. So he created the Mother Flame, which is a stand-in for the atomic bomb and stuff like that. And by using this nuclear atomic energy, he was able to create the things that he wanted to for good. But by also creating this atomic and nuclear energy, other people had other plans for it and have been using it for bad, and evil acts, which are going to cause the world to sink. And then while studying the poneglyphs, Vegapunk learned that maybe he wasn't the first person to do this, and that all of this has happened before. Theron said Randy has to get into his method acting and be Vegapunk. Well, the Vegapunk that I used to do is just, I mean, any old man is just Roshi, And he was the very first man on this sea to be called a pirate. I'm Dr. Vegapunk. Let's see. Doflamingo said Emu is Joy Boy's mom, and she's also got the yams. But do those yams deserve a trophy? Emu's got the Emo's got the best BBL in history. Chin said Oda's going to draw Vegapunk's message, taking like 10 more chapters before he finishes it. I don't know. I'm inclined to believe that we're going to transition into a flashback in the next chapter. If Oda is as good of a writer as I praise him to be, he will stop telling us things and he'll start showing us things. So for Vegapunk to say, so I will leave you only with the verified truth, then we need to only see the truth. We need to see Joy Boy. So, and what this also creates is, you know, everybody thought that we'd get the Void Century flashback, you know, way later into the story. But I think what this opens is a possibility for 2 flashbacks. We get the Joy Boy flashback now, but then we get the Nika flashback later, which tells us stuff that happened even before all of this. And we can get that like during Elbaf or something. And that'll actually answer some of the questions that we may get from the Joy Boy flashback. Emil said, I don't know. I still feel like the message will still get interrupted midway. It's possible. Duran said, I think we'll get a clip show like Kaido's flashback instead of the Odin flashback. It depends on what Oda feels he can tell us without revealing what the One Piece is. Because these two things may not be, you know, exclusive to one another. They could be separate, so. But my issue is that if we go into that flashback, we will learn about the Ancient Kingdom and we will learn its name. And granted, it's much better to see it and then get an Oda box for it than for Vegapunk to say it. But I also really I still want Robin to do something. I just want her to do something, you know, and that's the issue here. It's always been the issue here. But I think that there's actually a chance that we do get a Joy Boy reveal. That we will see what Joy Boy looked like. Maybe even in the next chapter.
You loyal.
Shout out to Dawn Knight 1993, member for 16 months, said, finally here. Hope everybody's well. Call all the important mothers in your life today. Like the video and subscribe. Yes. Appreciate you, man. Duran said, I just don't know if the time is right now for big revelations when the whole point of One Piece is to get all of these revelations. Well, I mean, Oda already said we're in the final saga. So, if One Piece ends sooner than we think, you know, who knows? I don't know. I mean, with the way that Oda's been writing, I really get the impression that he's, like, trying to rush to the end of the story. And have as many stones, you know, turned as possible. So, you know, that doesn't mean that, like, you know, the story is going to end in 20 chapters or something like that. You know, he's not going to, you know, speed blitz it that way, but there's still ways for us to get all of this information and then still have things to uncover or things to do. Because it's like, I've always felt like we need the information in order to understand what to do in the end anyway. So if we get everything about the Void Century here, we understand who our villains are. We know that we have to overthrow this regime. You know, we shouldn't overthrow the regime and then find out everything that they did bad and go, oh man, it's a good thing we took them out because look at all the bad things they did. No, we need to see all of the bad things that they did and then appreciate the swell and the swoon when we have freed the world. Comic Camping said, last one, the 108 heroes of Langshan Marsh. In the Chinese novel Water Margin, 108 heroes rebel against corruption and injustice. This story may have inspired the Straw Hat Pirates. Maybe. I mean, everything that the Straw Hats are doing, like, it's not, you know, Oda's not reinventing the wheel, you know, with the motivations of the Straw Hat Pirates. It's One Piece at its core is extraordinarily tropey, but it's the way that Oda does it that makes us appreciate it. Duran said, I think Egghead is the first part of a 3-part story, like every saga has. We're at the part of the story that needs to drive the next 2 parts. Yeah. If we don't get any information here, then what ammo do we have to go into the end? We need information. We need information that's going to propel us. And that's what I've been saying is going to come from this to begin with. Whatever we get is going to drive the Straw Hats towards their goal. It's going to drive the Revolutionary Army against the government. And it's going to drive the everyday man to side with Luffy and the Revolutionary Army against the government, against the powers that be. No more heavenly tribute. We're going to see what they did wrong. But it also should show us a side where the bad guys thought they were doing the right thing. Brandon said, I don't see us getting this flashback yet because we haven't seen a Joy Boy silhouette yet. You always get silhouettes before flashbacks. We've seen silhouettes. Luffy's silhouette is Joy Boy's silhouette. The Nika silhouette is Joy Boy's silhouette. I'm okay with it. Oda will find a way, you know. He'll have a panel where you only see them from behind first, and then you get to the next page, and it's like a giant, you know, double-page spread of Joy Boy. I mean, it's possible we don't get the flashback, but if we don't, then that's like subverting the expectations here, because you're telling me you're going to tell me the verified truth looking off into the distance, and then you're just going to continue yapping? No, I think Oda's setting up that he's going to show us stuff. Like, this is the perfect thing where you just kind of go whoop, 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 and you just go into a flashback after this. Am I the only person in the community that thinks that we're getting a flashback after this chapter? I mean, it doesn't have to be a full flashback. It could be, you know, a part of a flashback. And then... You know what would actually be fun? Is if we did only get part of the flashback here. And then later on, like, we find a poneglyph, and then Robin is reading it. And as she's reading it, like, we start getting another part of the flashback. But maybe it's not... the continuation of the same part that we were at. Maybe it's 3 chapters later, and then we read another poneglyph, and it's like it actually is something in between these two things, the Vegapunk, and, like, you know, that extends the story much further than I think that we'll ever get. But I mean, like, that's the kind of, that would, I don't know, that's just a fun form of storytelling that I would like. Skyland said, I think the transition to a flashback is basically guaranteed without Vegapunk is saying he is going to tell a story with Joy Boy as the central character. That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm reading this. I'm reading this as Oda's telling us we're getting a flashback in the next chapter. Let's see here. My thing is I just want to see how Shandora ends up fitting into all of this. Because I know it has to. I'd like to see what the first plague was, because I'm sure there was a plague, just like there was tree fever 400 years ago. So many good cameos in this chapter. I mean, like, who expected to see Boodle? And then we have Saul, which is phenomenal. Yeah. Marzel said, where can I read the newest chapter? Viz.com. Foxy needs a tragic story flashback ASAP. I think we're good. I love Foxy, but I'm good. I'd love to just see Foxy and Impel Down or something. Jin said, I don't know, I'm scared of flashbacks now after Oda wrote Kumba's flashback. Hey, I'm all in. If Oda wants to give us 20 chapters of a, Void Century flashback, like, I've been waiting 25 years for that. So, I'm all in. There's gonna be a lot of fans that are gonna be like, oh, what's this Nolan and Calgara shit again? I don't want this. Give me Luffy. I want punching. Punch, punch, fight, fight. One Piece is so boring now. Just say the message. God. Why are we seeing all these people from years ago? They're not doing anything. Where's Zoro? Cut something. No, I want a whole. Just give me it all. Give it to me, Oda. Lay it all out. Void Century. Show me that boy of joy. Show me that bundle of joy. Jacob said they skip Skypiea. Yeah. I fast forwarded through episode of Skypiea. I got what I needed to know. When the animation switched and showed those other guys, I didn't watch that part. The animation was too old. I didn't care. Hungry Panda said that nailed some middle schoolers I know. Well, put them onto Dragon Ball Z. They're not gonna like Dragon Ball. Sajid said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you mistaked 1114 chapter for 1115. 1115 is the next chapter. This chapter that was just released is 1114. 15 will be the next one. The next video that I put out after the analysis for this is gonna be great for Skypea appreciators. So, look out. Oh man. Let's see. Now I'm going to take a look at the chapter with without reading all of the Vegapunk stuff. Wiper was amazing, Les, and is still one of my favorite characters, and exactly why I put him in my top 30. Top 50 or something. Whatever it was when I did that stream. He's a top tier. Growth Stock said, how many chapters of One Piece are left? 150? I want to see 1,231 chapters of One Piece. That's what I want to see. All right. The world will sink under the sea. Dr. Vegapunk, what are you talking about? Now that's funny. So he decides that when he dies, he's going to go out throwing the world into chaos. How exactly is the entire world going to sink underwater, man? Around here, we believe him, but the whole world? He's not talking about high and low tides, is he? That's rich. What if seawater floods down and Impel down? Isn't it your job to ensure the safety of prisoners under your care, Magellan? That 1 meter rise the other day had the prison panicking. How many meters does it take to sink the whole world? Most cities in the world will be wiped out with an extra 5 meters of water. What do you think? Should we all move to much higher ground? What's going to happen? It just seems so absurd. It's coming from the world's greatest scientist. He can wreak havoc on the entire world with a lie. This is utter nonsense, Dr. Vegapunk. Destroy the transmission transponder snail. In fact, destroy any life form you can hear. Everything else is secondary. How much are you going to tell them, Stella? Now speaking. Is he talking about the earthquake from today? But Vegapunk's already dead, supposedly. Oh, that's freaky, man. He totally nailed it. Vegapunk, don't you dare say another word. Be gone. What about the power plant Mars? Not yet. That chamber must not be harmed above all else. I will go. The mother flame. Destroy every last sign of life. Not that one either. So, Saturn was just killing snails. Snail aside. It's no good. That didn't work. We can't even make that thing so much as flinch. Hurry before we all get roasted alive. What are you doing, Navy? Make him stop talking. Wait, Century, what is that? An execution's too good for him. Bring me the body. I'll mutilate the corpse. Yeah, she. Well, long ago, there are 20 kings that got together. They created the world. Doesn't that man know that? What do you think, Shishi?
Another one.
last ending. So when Edison said he would make sure we touched down on water, did he mean good point if God stretched further out? Now get off this island, straw hats, and let the government lay a finger on you. Hey, straw, don't put your luck. This one will hurt you. Stop trying to make us laugh. Shout out to Mag Mortar.
Another one.
Appreciate you. Sajid said, I skipped Long Ring Long Land. I thought it was boring when I started watching One Piece in 2011. Read it. Don't watch it. They changed too many things watching it. If you're going to watch it, watch the One Piece version. But read it. Because I do think that it is... Everything in One Piece is important. There is no filler. So... Yep. Jin, off topic, did you enjoy Dune Toon, Randy? I did, a lot.
Listen, Argabe! Listen, Argabe!
So let's see. Yeah. I think we might start winding the stream down. I think I've got to do some off-stream thinking for the analysis. Give myself more time to focus on the video and compile all of these thoughts, and then get back to the lineage video, which nothing in this chapter combats anything that I'm going to say in that video, which is good, which I was worried about. Yeah. Barry said, wait, so Randy, what is the 3-year icon? So it is this logo wrapped in a bubble from the archipelago. Because we're, Grove 31. Yeah, I made that, I don't know, like a year and a half ago. And then I haven't looked back. I mean, I might change it. I might, make it something more recognizable or something cooler. Alm said lineage video coming soon. Yeah, I mean, it's basically done. So, and now that we have a break, I'll release it this break. For years should be Luffy making the face calling Zori on Toria. Well, it's more than just Skypiea, but we do get into a lot of Skypiea stuff for the enjoyers. Yeah. Is there anything else that the community's talking about that we didn't go over yet? Anything else we want to talk about before I end the stream? Let's make sure we, get those likes in before the end here. Miles said the Jaya hieroglyphs, showing the Mother Flame as legendary stuff. The Jaya hieroglyphs? No one pointed me to that. They pointed me to the stuff on the moon and Haradas. No comment on Mocktown Jaya. I talked about it during the read. You got the snail has Doflamingo's mark on it, so it shows that Doflamingo still has like a handle on, grasp on Mocktown, and these are like the, Bellamy 2.0s of the world. Maybe S. Flamingo's taking over his operation. I doubt that. He's too busy fighting the Cross Guild right now. Martins, Luffy still can't hurt Warcury. Who can do it? Luffy, once everybody knows about Nika and then he can break through their little thing. Let's see here. Like, I think that there's a barrier because of belief. Like, they are powered by the fear of the world. So but once the world believes in Luffy and knows about Luffy, he'll like get some random power boost, and then he'll be able to like kind of push through it. Power of belief. It's a tired trope, but hey. No cameo of Charlos as an L. Every chapter without Charlos is a W unless he's getting punched. Leonardo said, "Can Shanks or Mihawk cut him?" I mean, Brook cut off one of the legs of Saturn. It doesn't matter if you can cut somebody because they can just grow back. Like, you have to, Rio, you have to get inside, and there's a barrier there, and it's an energy, it's some sort of power that we're not even talking about yet. So that's the thing. Shout out to Roger, the guys in the chat. He said facts. No Charlos is a W. Oh man. So Roger, what do you think? I'm thinking we're actually getting a flashback next chapter. Everything that I know of narrative structure makes me think that Oda's leading us into a flashback. Roger said I had to tune in after reading this one. So good and even better upon reread. Roger said I think next chapter is reactions again. Sabo, Dragon, Vivi. Flashback would be a huge W though. Yeah, I mean, you know, we could start off with, you know, something, but I feel like we're just if he's going to be telling us something about, you know, this is the verifiable truth, and look off into the sky and tell us who our main character is. Like, I don't want Vegapunk to start, you know, to keep squawking about it. Like, I want to be shown it. So I need the black borders to go. I need the Joy Boy reveal. And then everybody gets their minds blown because something that they thought was coming at the very end of the story is coming now. And then when we come out of the flashback, then we can start seeing people like Sabo, Dragon, and Vivi and the characters that care, because now they have the context of what Vegapunk has said throughout the course of what we had, you know, just read. Roger said, I genuinely feel like the Joy Boy reveal is Elbaf, so we're close, but not quite there yet. But the thing is now I'm starting to think that we're going to be told about Joy Boy now, and we're going to be told about Nika and Elbaf. So there's going to be 2 flashbacks. There's going to be 2 reveals, because they're 2 different people, and they play 2 different roles in this story. So we can get the Joy Boy side of it now. We get the Nika part later from the Giants, because it ties into their lore. Whereas Joy Boy ties into the futuristic ancient city, and we're in the futuristic inversion of that, you know, 900 years later at Egghead. So when we start getting into the Giants and we start getting into Elbaf and all that, they can tell us about their god, who is not Joy Boy. It's Nika. Roger said, that would be so fire. I want you to be right. Roger said, Nika lore will 100% be Elbaf. Yeah, you're right. Elbaf is going to have so many religious themes for sure. Yeah. So, but I don't know. The best thing to come out of this stream right now is people mentioning that the, you know, and in Japanese is to. So when you look at the thing and you see A and then the ampersand and mu, it's actually Atomu, A-T-O-M, right? So then you just want to get into the religious themes. Atom and Eve, not A-D-A-M, but A-T-O-M. That's now my new headcanon. So with all the Oppenheimer, atomic energy, all this kind of stuff going in here, that's what Oda's doing. We got Atom and Eve. Yeah. We're here. We're here. Brandon said Alabasta and the drum was about what it means to be a king. Elbaf will be what it means to be a god. All right, well then, we at that point we need an L back. Yeah. Volkazar, then what will be left for Laugh-Tale? What the One Piece is. The message at Laugh-Tale will be, maybe that 800 years from now, someone will come and will free the world. And then Luffy will look at it and say, hey, that's me. And laugh. And that's it. And Roger laughed because he was too early. And Luffy will laugh because he was too late. Had he seen that earlier, he would have been like, oh, maybe that, it's talking about me. I got to go do this thing. Oh, but it's talking about this thing I already did. It could be something like that. Which will be divisive in its own way. Roger said I laugh because Shushu is relevant again in 2024. I was more surprised to see Boodle. That was the crazy thing for me. Like, it's like, oh. No, I enjoyed the cameos. We had Paulie, Magellan, Marguerite, Mondor, my man Poodle. We gonna get a Batchy reaction? I'm pretty sure Batchy's dead. Pretty sure he got stepped on or whatever. Like, he was in that soup. If he's still alive, then he's got the... He needs a billion berry bounty. Need that Batchy flashback. Gin's cameo coming soon. We can only hope. We can only hope. What reaction would surprise you the most next chapter? Gin. This is the one I want. I don't know. I do want to see Kureha and Dalton though. Because I feel like Kureha would have something to say about all this due to her age. And since we're like taking it all the way back to like East Blue and everything like that, I think it would be like really crazy to see like what Axehand Morgan is up to. Because we still don't know what he did. Like, he sailed away. He got away. What has he been up to? See Kuro's reaction to this. Meal said, I want a carrot reaction. Where's my carrot, Oda? Some of these characters are, I think, being saved for to react to something that directly applies to the Straw Hats and Luffy. So whenever Vegapunk starts, potentially getting into stuff about that, like, and now that fruit is held by Monkey D. Luffy. He is the new incarnation of Joy Boy, of Sun God Nika. Like, believe in this man. Then, we start seeing Carrot, Vivi, Sabo, Kureha, Zeph. I don't know. Gaimon's listening in. Volkazard said the barkeep from Lobetown would be a wild callback too, since he knew Roger. Yeah, well, the thing about Raul, the bartender from Gold Roger Bar, is that he is filler. He's, he's part of the... He was part of Oda's original plan for Lobetown, which is what, the anime ended up adapting, but, like, Raul was never in the manga, so that's anime only. Like, all of that stuff with, Smoker seeing Roger and Smoker talking to Raul, all of that was filler. It's all filler. I mean, it's stuff that, like, Oda wanted to do, Daddy Masterson, like, all that kind of stuff. Like, he had a whole plan for Lobetown, but he wanted to start the Grand Line journey at chapter 100, so he cut it all down and made Lobetown only 4 chapters, and then the novelization came out, and the anime expanded upon different things that Oda had wanted to do. Speaking of Smoker, where is he? Yeah, I've been saying that for years. And I've been saying it every chapter again. So. But. Alright, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. This has been a fun one. This has been a chapter for the books. I think the next one is going to be even crazier. This is when we're actually like, next one is real information, whether we get the flashback or not. So, and you know, we'll get into more of the specifics with the analysis. Since we're on break, we're gonna have we'll have the lineage video. I think next Sunday, whatever stream we do, will probably be. And I think going forward, I'm going to try doing streams that start around 9:15 my time. Today's stream started 10:15, so I think we're going to pull things back an hour. And we're also going to end an hour sooner. So, and yeah. Oh, I guess, you know, we'll probably have to get into another theory for theory. You know, we've been doing them back to back to back. It's a lot of theory for theories, but drop who you'd like to see on the channel in the chat before I go. Let's see. Vinland, we haven't had Vinland on in a while. Roger, Chin wants Roger. Roger, are you still in the chat? We had Jay pretty recently. Brago could be good. Okay. Yeah, I'll take all of that into consideration, and we'll see who's actually available. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for 11:15. I will see you guys in the analysis. I'll see you next week. Hopefully I will see you in my big video that I've been working on for, I don't know, like 2 months now. Which will come out soonish.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.